Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing the I am a reader tag. This tag was created by Penguin Random House to celebrate their book The Reader by Traci Chee, and I was tagged by the lovely Meryl at A Blackbird's Books, so thank you so much to her for tagging me in this. And I really love the sound of this tag. I often find that some tags you end up sort of picking the same books and they get a little bit samey. But what I love about this one is that you really get to know a little bit about the person. It's not just about books, it's about your reading life and what's got you into reading. So I really enjoyed listening to Meryl's answers for this, and so I'm really excited to share mine with you. So the first question on this tag is, what one word describes a reader? And I think for me, that is escapism. Reading for me has always been about escaping to other places, escaping to other worlds, giving me comfort in escaping somewhere else. And I definitely think that epitomises reading for me and what I think a reader is. They're an escapist, someone who likes to escape and to go to other places. The next question is the first book that you fell in love with. Now, I remember always being a voracious reader. As soon as I could read, I would read everything and anything. I remember many trips to the library as a child, and I remember lots and lots of books being in my childhood. One book that sort of springs to mind that really captured my imagination was The Wishing Chair by Enid Blyton. I really remember how Molly and Peter discover the chair and then they go on adventures, and it was just magical and really my first taste at sort of fantasy and fantastical stories, and it really captured my imagination, and I definitely remember reading that one quite a few times. Sorry, Mum. Question number 3 is hardback or paperback, and for me it's got to be paperback. I love the feel of a paperback in my hands. It's light, it fits better. I've got teeny tiny hands, you probably can't tell here, but I've got teeny tiny baby hands, and so a hardback always makes my hands hurt, and I do suffer a little bit with sort of upper back problems because I sit funny, and so reading a hardback and the extra weight can cause a bit of stress in my shoulders, so I do much prefer a paperback. And I really like the things that people are doing with paperbacks now. I like the sort of French flaps and the different textures on paperbacks. I mean, I know we have that on hardbacks too, but I really like how paperbacks are becoming more of a beautiful object now as well as hardback. Question 4 is, how has reading shaped your identity? And I think it's shaped it in a number of ways. The main way I think really is that reading has made me quite romantic. Now, I'm quite romantic anyway, but reading the fantastical fairy tales of my youth really did set in my mind romance. I had very unrealistic expectations when I was younger of how my romantic life would go. You know, getting rescued from the big bad witch and running away and finding my prince and being whisked off my feet, and how romance would be, which unfortunately for my husband is very unfair. Because they're not realistic. However, he did his best and he did whisk me off my feet eventually. But I think it definitely made me a bit of a romantic. Reading has definitely engaged that part of my brain, which allowed me to use my imagination. And also in a different way, possibly more of a negative thing that reading has done, is it has tapped into my imagination and definitely enhanced my overactive imagination when it comes to certain things. I can't read horror. It really does frighten me more than just saying, oh yes, I'm a bit scared. It would keep me up all night. And also I think I tend to be one of those people, whether I would have been this without reading, but I definitely see the worst case scenario in situations, you know, and get really anxious. You know, we're going on a plane in December to New Zealand and my head is already imagining all the different catastrophes that could happen. And I think partly that is just my personality, and partly that is down to reading has enhanced my imagination, and so sometimes it has those negative effects as well. But I certainly wouldn't give it up for anything, because I absolutely adore reading. It's a massive part of my life and of my identity. The next question is, what book do you read when you need to be comforted? Now, I'm not a rereader, so I don't go back to Harry Potter to reread to have comfort. But I would say that I definitely have genres that I go to for comfort. And for me, YA and romance stories are definitely a comfort read. They don't require me to think too hard often. I can let the words flow and the stories flow around me. They're quite fast paced. They really grip me in and get me going with the story, and I definitely find them comfort reads. They're sort of binge reads, ones that I can curl up and read in a few sittings, and they definitely are my go-to for when I needed to sort of be comforted or I need a bit of relaxation. The next question is, who taught you to read? I'm really sorry, but I can't remember. I have no idea who taught me to read. Possibly someone at school, or a bit of school and home. I can't remember a particular person in my life that stands out as someone who taught me to read. Question 7 is, what would your perfect reading area or reading lounge look like? For me, it would be wall-to-wall bookshelves as high as the ceiling, with big step ladders that I can climb up and down. That sort of image of Belle in Beauty and the Beast, with these massive bookcases in the Beast's castle. I was so jealous of her. And definitely lots of candles. I'm not really big into fireplaces and fires. I find that they make the room too hot for me, and they make me stifled, and they make me want to go to sleep, which isn't conducive of reading. So definitely those candles that have got the wicks that sort of crackle, I'd really like that. And I'd really like a chaise longue. Now, I like sofas, but because of my neck problems, sometimes I end up sort of slouching when I'm reading. And a chaise longue, if you don't know, is sort of like a couch, and then it's got sort of a more angled bit that you lie on. So it's sort of like a day beddy shape. And I think that would be better for my neck, and I think that would be very comfortable to lie on, very Egyptian feeling. And then nice big rugs and really soft blankets, and just things like that. And you know, if I was going to have everything and it was my own reading lounge, it would definitely have a little snacky cafetiere area where I could have hot coffee and a few little snacks in there for when I fancy a snack. So I definitely have like a little area, not a bar, because I don't really drink much alcohol anyway, and I don't really drink much when I'm reading, but you know, like a nice little coffee bar would be great. And then the final question is, a book that has changed the way you see the world. And for me, there isn't one specific book. I think, like Meryl said, there's not a specific book that has really changed everything for me. But I also watched Amanda Center's video, who is the person that tagged Meryl, and she was saying about how Caitlin Doherty's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, how that changed the way that she changed her reading. She realised that you could learn these things through modern sort of science non-fiction and popular science books, I suppose. And I think definitely for me recently, things like Stiff by Mary Roach and also Caitlin Doherty's Smoke Gets in Your Eyes have really opened my eyes to non-fiction reading and learning things and continuing my learning in terms of facts and non-fiction, which is something that I didn't think I could do before. I always found non-fiction quite dry, and to realise that there were books out there that would really speak to me and engage me and make me excited about finding out more and learning was really exciting, and has definitely changed some of my reading. More recently I read, and also it was the November pick for Book Buddy Box, was The Blue Door by Lise Christensen, and that's another example of a non-fiction book that really tapped into my interests in finding out more about Japan's role in World War II, which I'm not really into war books. If you watch my channel, you'll know that war books aren't really my thing, but that part of it really I am quite interested in. The prisoner of war camps in Java especially, I'm quite intrigued by, and the sort of depths that humanity went to and the atrocities that happened. I'm finding that quite interesting. Yeonmi Park's In Order to Live has really changed and piqued my interest in finding out more about North Korea, and that's an area that has become interesting to me. So I definitely think that non-fiction itself has opened me up as a reader, and more interestingly, the modern non-fiction, which isn't quite so dry and text heavy and textbook like, I really have found that I'm enjoying, so it's definitely changing me. I'm going to tag Sam from Cold Tea and Crumbs. I'm going to tag Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. I'm going to tag Caitlin from Kitty G. I'm going to tag Louise from The Big Head Bookworm. And I think that's it, and anybody else that wants to do it. And yeah, that was it from me, and thank you for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Don't forget, I don't know if there's any left now because they were selling out quite quickly, but December's Book Buddy Box is out, or may have sold out now, but it's on my Etsy store, which is linked down below. And if you miss out on December's, there's not going to be a January one because I'm in New Zealand, but there will be one in February, so keep your eyes open. I will be opening the bookings for February probably in early December, so I will make an announcement then, but keep an eye on the Etsy page, or I think there's a way that you can click on it so that you get reminders when new listings go up. And yeah, if you fancy trying it out, give it a go. Anyway, that's it from me, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Bye for now, BookTube.